What's going on, Scorpio? It's your girl D here, bringing you your September 2022 astrology reading. I hope all is well with everybody. Thank you so much for coming to check out the channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you need a personal, my information's in the box below. You'll also find the link to my other channel, Many Styles of Tarot, in the box below. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button for that as well. So let's just go right ahead and hop right into your astrology reading. For those of you who are new to the channel, this channel, we deal heavily in astrology. We do use tarot cards, but this is one of the readings that I don't. Okay, so what I would also recommend for those of you who are familiar with the channel and you didn't check out last month's reading for August, make sure you check that out as well, because a lot of times what may not have resonated or didn't make sense may make sense now that the month is coming to a close. So make sure you check out August's reading, and let's hop into September. So Scorpio, you got the South Node in your first house. That's going to be prevalent for you for the next, I would say, year. All right. Ever since the North Node went into Taurus, South Node went into Scorpio back in January of this year. So the nodes usually last in a particular sign roughly 18 months. So we're about 6 months in now, right? So you got about a year left of this energy, and what you're experiencing with this energy is you basically understanding and basically, how can I say it? Your energies, as far as scorpionic energies, as far as the power of being able to transition and transform, being able to survive it, being able to master the stages of it, are some of the things that are going to help you move forward and close out a lot of cycles from the past. So you are using your scorpionic energy that you've mastered based on things you've experienced in your past life, or some things you've experienced in your childhood. As far as your knowing your energy, understanding that you attract wounded souls, understanding that if you have some unresolved issues, you're going to attract people to you who have those issues. Just understanding the transformative energy of Scorpio, and sensing when there's time for change, and acknowledging it and accepting it instead of trying to fight it, which is what brings out the real toxic energy of Scorpio, right? Some of you have tapped into your occult studies, which is anything that is hidden, considered hidden knowledge, and you've really expounded upon that. So some of the various energies of Scorpio that you've already mastered and experienced, and you're supposed to take those energies, and you're supposed to help. They're supposed to help you as you move towards the North Node energy, which is Taurus, and that's in your seventh house, right? Your seventh house is the house of all partnerships, different types of partnerships, family partnerships, relationships rather. So relationship dynamics between your family, your friends, people that you're in organizations or social activity events with, people that you work with, people that you are intimate relationships with, right? All types of relationships and how you relate to these people. So what we're looking at is you making sure that you're standing your ground in your scorpionic energy, as in, because your first house represents how people see you, how you project yourself out into the world, and the South Node is in your first house. So you're letting people know, look, I understand my energy, I know what it is, and if I see something that's uncomfortable for me, I know enough to snap out of it, to move away from it, to transform the situation and make it work for me. As in, if I have to leave it, I leave it. If I have to change my perspective on things, I need to change my perspective on things. But just knowing that whatever comes towards you, you have the capabilities to master, or not necessarily master it, but you have the capabilities to handle it, right? And we're looking at things that might oppose that energy. What could oppose that energy is the type of relationships that you could be in when we're looking at your seventh house, because your seventh house is Uranus there in retrograde. And it's ruled by Taurus. So Taurus is all about being comfortable, being secure, financially stable. It's about your insecurities as well. It's also about indulgences, things like that. So what I feel like you're doing is you need to be careful in understanding that you may meet people who may have some type of, you guys may connect on another level where, like I said, you attract people who may need similar healing that you might need, or, as a healer, you and on your journey, you may attract people who need healing. But what you need to do is you need to understand that, with that Uranus energy in your seventh house, some of these people could be a whirlwind of trouble. Like, I look at the Uranus energy as the Tasmanian devil, right? And so just imagine you mastering your scorpionic energies in your first house, and what's opposing that is what's going on in the seventh house with the Uranus. So that, somebody who you normally may not be attracted to may be attracted to you, or a relationship may come to you out of nowhere, or you may reconnect with someone from the past out of nowhere. And it's like you have to be able to stop and say, wait a minute, let me slow things down here, because Uranus will just pop it up on you just like that. So there could be some unexpected situations or circumstances that occurred in your workplace. Like maybe you were offered a position, or somebody came to you and said, hey, I think you'd be great for this position. Your boss. And you're like, oh shit, okay. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't even really going to stay here, but okay, right? And so now you're like, okay, that came out of the blue. That's like Uranus energy, right? In your house of partnerships, your house of relationships. You could have run into someone that you dealt with in the past, and this person caught you off guard, and it's like, oh, hey, what's up? Oh, hi. How's everything going? Look, you still on the same shit you was on last time? Because other than that, we don't need to do nothing more than just say hello. I already see the look in your face, right? Or whatever conversation it is that you're going to have. But you need to make sure that, don't let these people catch you off guard. Don't let circumstances and situations catch you off guard. Take your time and think about it, right? Now, there's nothing much going on in your second house, which is your Sag house. But your third house, you got Capricorn here, right? And Pluto is the planet that's here. Pluto's in retrograde. And I want to talk about the third and the fourth house together, because I feel like for a lot of you, you're moving. The third house has to do with your environment and your surroundings. The fourth house has to do with where you live. Your comfortability, as far as where you live at, how you live. Do you have the security that you need? Do you feel safe? And so with Pluto in retrograde in the third house and Saturn in retrograde in the fourth house, I feel a lot of you have already moved, or you're considering moving. And if it's not about moving, it could be travel. Some of you could be doing some travel, going out of town, okay? But I feel like both of these planets also are going to go direct in October. So we're in the last stages of Pluto and Saturn being in retrograde. Pluto's in retrograde in Capricorn. Saturn's in retrograde in Aquarius. Now let's just talk about it one by one real quick. So your third house is where Pluto is. Pluto is the house of power struggles. Well, it's the planet of power struggle, power dynamics, intensity. Who has the upper hand in a situation? That's like Pluto energy, but it also deals with death and rebirth. So in all aspects. I call it creative destruction. You bring something to an end so something new can begin. Every ending bears a new beginning in some way, shape, or form. You just have to look at it as such. But that's what the Pluto energy is about. And it's in Capricorn. So Capricorn is the energy of like restraint, restriction, following the rules, making sure that you are stable and grounded, making sure that things make sense. If you're going to do it, it's got to make sense. It's got to provide some type of stability, some type of security, right? And so I feel like this is what you're going through in your environment and your surroundings. With Pluto in retrograde there, you're reevaluating the environment in which you live in. Is this an environment that I'm comfortable with? Do I want to move? If I want to move, where would I want to go? Why do I want to move if I want to move? Or it could just, like I said, somebody may want to travel. But I feel like for some of you, you may want to change where you are, your location. And then when we get to the fourth house with Saturn there, your fourth house is with your emotions and your feelings, but it also deals with your family dynamics, your bloodline, the connection between you and your family members, the person you are in the family, the energy you represent within your family structure, family dynamic. Also talks about, what goes on in your home, what makes you secure and comfortable, because, the fourth house deals with Cancerian energy, and that's all about being secure and safe, feeling safe and secure. Now, Saturn's in retrograde there, because Saturn has to do with timing. So when Saturn's in retrograde, we're supposed to be questioning, is the time up for this situation? So for some of you, again, you're questioning where you live. You're questioning if you're going to move, where you're going to move, should you move, and if it's not like moving permanently, it could be just a temporary move, or it could just be travel. Okay, so I feel like for some of you, you may no longer feel safe where you are. You may no longer feel comfortable where you are. Okay, with Saturn there in retrograde. So you may feel like you've outgrown it. Like, for example, some of you could be very successful, and as you are coming into your success, a lot of people may know where you live, and you may be uncomfortable with that. So you may be like, okay, for safety reasons, let me go ahead and make moves. Or you may have gotten out of a relationship, or you may have gotten out of some karmic partnerships, and people may be upset at you. They know where you live. You may be feeling these people's energy. They may be wanting to come after you. They may be upset with you, or what have you. Or you got to be careful. Somebody might have left some funny shit in your house, and you feel ill vibes, and you may just feel the urge to leave or to move. But I feel like for some of you, moving, leaving, or traveling is heavy on your radar. Let me know in the comments. If it's not about moving, it could just be about, with the third house, it could just be about your lifestyle. You're changing lifestyles. You're no longer living this particular lifestyle. Now things have changed, and now you're going to be living this type of lifestyle. So maybe before, you were very materialistic. Maybe you spent a lot of money, on things, and you drove like foreign cars, and everything was designer. And maybe now you're like, yo, this don't satisfy me no more. I can buy everything I want. It's not a big deal to me. So maybe I'm going to switch it up. Maybe I'll live a minimalist lifestyle now, where it's like, okay, I'll just have the basics that I need in my place. I'll just have a car that'll, it's a decent car, but it's not a designer. It's not a foreign car, right? It's not a European vehicle. It's just a very basic, American car. Like if you're in America, like a Chevy or something like that. It's not a BMW or Audi or, Land Rover or, Tesla. It could just be, a Chevy. It could just be a Corolla, something very simple. So you may want to, change to a minimalist lifestyle. Some of you could be wanting to move away from, maybe it's time that you move away from the nest. Maybe you grew up in a close-knit family, and for whatever reason now you may feel like it's time for you to strike it out on your own. So it could be, just a matter of moving mentally away from a thought process or an ideology or a way of life. It doesn't have to be physically, but either way, one or the other, you're definitely doing some type of moving. All right. Fifth house, that's where Neptune is at. This is the house of fun, right? This is the house of quick money as well. Playing the lotto, casino, bingo, instant money, instant winning, right? This is the house of romantic gestures. That first initial energy that you feel when you're attracted to a person, that intimate connection that you have, that like infatuation type of stage, right? That's what the Leo energy represents. And so we got Neptune in retrograde there. Now with Neptune in retrograde, Neptune is a planet of illusions. It could put you in a position where you're not seeing things clearly, or you could just be so up in your head that your imagination is getting the best of you. But this is also a planet of psychic abilities as well. You're very intuitive at this point now. When Neptune is in retrograde, the intuitive abilities are enhanced, because the illusionary energies that are usually present when you have Neptune direct, they become less visible. Like the rose-colored glasses break, so to speak, when Neptune's in retrograde. So you're able to see things that maybe you didn't see before. And with this being in your fifth house, this could be about the things that you like to do for fun, or what you like to do for fun. So for some of you, maybe you used to like to drink, and maybe you don't like to drink as much anymore. It's just like, I don't dislike drinking. I don't mind having a drink every now and then, but I just don't like it the way that I used to. It could have been that whenever you got with your friends, y'all would light up, smoke, drink, whatever it was that you would do. And now maybe you have no desire to do that anymore. You just don't get anything out of it. So Neptune retrograde may be having you feel that way. Also, it could be making you look at, okay, why was I indecisive about, romantic relationships and partnerships, or why was I in connections with people trying to make something serious that's short term. Leo deals with short term relationships. The opposite polarity of that would be the Aquarius energy, which is long term commitment, things like that. So for some of you, you could just be reminiscing and realizing, okay, I was in a situationship. I was trying to make somebody who wasn't settled down worthy. I was trying to get them to settle down. Or maybe I realized I was in a relationship, but I ain't ready to settle down. So, things like that. But actually making decisions as well, and not being teeter-tottering the fence, because Neptune energy sometimes, it allows you to see all perspectives in a situation. So maybe sometimes as a result of that, you don't know what to choose or how to choose. But what's happening is, when you're in a situation like that, there could be one or two underlying attributes that make you go with one side or the other. So I feel like with Neptune and retrograde, those attributes are going to reveal themselves to you, and you're going to be able to make decisions, especially when it comes to your creativity, when it comes to the things that, like for some of you, you don't even have to do anything, and you're just really creative. You just come up with something off the top of your head, and it's like, oh, people see that like, oh, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty creative, or you may say that yourself. So especially with the Lionsgate portal to the energies that we're still in, well, that energy actually wrapped up with the new moon in Virgo, which is the energies we're in now. The new moon in Virgo started on the 27th. So between now and when we get the full moon in, what is it? We're in Virgo season, so it will be the full moon in Pisces. So when the full moon in Pisces comes up in approximately 2 weeks, that energy may feel a little bit different, because, you'll have Neptune in Pisces as well in retrograde. So that'll be an interesting energy to pay attention to. Moving on. So you'll be able to see, when also with this 5th house, you're going to be able to see people who are coming towards you. If they just want to fling, they just want to have sex, you'll see that, right? You will also, if you're in an environment where you're a leader or you have a say in things, you'll be able to look at the people that you're dealing with, and you'll be able to see, what their positive attributes are and how to help them use it to benefit the group as a whole. So, this is really good energy for that. But for those of you who are very spiritual and you want to tap into your higher self, this is great energy to do it with, okay? The 6th house, you got Chiron and Jupiter both in retrograde here. And this is in your Aries house. So whatever's going on here is going to come out real Aries-like, okay? So this is like maybe someone who is, introverted, someone who, is focused on what it is that they want to do. They're going to do it right now. There's no holding back. They're not worrying about what anybody else has to say. This is in the house of your routines, your patterns, your work ethic, your discipline efforts, how you take care of your body, your physical self, and the things that you do every day. So with Chiron in retrograde, Chiron is an energy of, okay, I'm wounded. I have my own wounds like we all do, but, how can I use this to benefit me? Because it's not going anywhere, or it's something I'm going to have to continue to work on all the rest of my days, and so as a result, how can I better, understand what this is, where it came from, so that way I'll know what to do with this energy. So that's what some of you are dealing with. And shout out to those who, I don't know if I said this in the Virgo video or the Libra video, but those of you who are turning 50 and 51 and you have a natal Aries, a Chiron in Aries, and that's natally in your chart, then you're going through your Chiron return right now, because the Chiron return is every 51 years. So for those of you who have Chiron and Aries in your natal chart, you're going through the Chiron retrograde right now. And I did a Chiron retrograde and Jupiter retrograde video for you all, so make sure you check that out. Just go to the playlist for your sign or the signs that you're interested in watching. But I feel like for those of you who are really feeling this energy heavy, you are looking at how to incorporate healthier patterns in reference to taking better care of your health. Jupiter is here in retrograde, so some of you could be losing some weight, okay? Or you're working on doing things to help you lose weight. You could just be doing it naturally, or you could just be coming in contact with things that are helping you to take better care of your health, or maybe your pets. But this is all about changing your priorities, changing your patterns, changing your routines. For me, I feel like this is in reference to your health. Now, we talked about your seventh house, which was the opposite polarity of your first house. So we talked about you being careful of the different types of people who may be attracted to you. All right. I think we talked about that last month as well. You just have to be careful because you may attract people who are very unique, rebellious, individualistic type of people, but you want to make sure that these people, Uranus is an energy of a rebellion. Now, you just need to be careful what type of rebellion you're dealing with. Because if you're dealing with people who rebel against rules, as far as society is concerned, and maybe they don't have no rules of their own as far as what they feel is what they can do versus what they can't do, keep in mind this person's not going to really resonate and respect your rules. Like you may run into someone who is just a very they don't, somebody who doesn't believe, it's like F the authority, F the police, and people have their reasons for believing that. This is just an example, right? But if they don't have any respect for authority, it's like, okay, if they just say F all police or F all authority, and opposed to the ones who do things wrong, or the ones who are the crooked ones, or the rogue ones, and they just feel that way about all of them, and then this is somebody who breaks the law, someone who has a rap sheet taller than you, right? And then this is somebody who will, at the same time, this could be somebody who will sell themselves for a couple of dollars. It's like you really have to question if this person doesn't have any moral rules where they're okay selling themselves, and they don't abide by societal rules. If you go to this person and you connect with this person intimately, and you're like, yo, this is a line for me. You can't do this. This is what you need. You know what I'm saying? You need to respect this. Do you really think they're going to respect it? So you have to be careful with that Uranus energy. Uranus, to me, again, it reminds me of the Tasmanian devil. You know how he just spins around, and then when he stops spinning, he looks around at all the damage that's been done. Be careful whirlwind romances with this Uranus in your Taurus house, which is your house of partnerships. And it's all kinds of partnerships, too. You see the sirens? Not just your love relationships, but relationships with friends. Be careful of the people you meet and you connect with. Be careful of the work establishment and the work environments that you get involved in, the group work type of situations and scenarios. It doesn't matter. Any type of relationship, be careful that you're dealing with people who respect your morals and respect your boundaries. Okay, that's very important for you. Now, your 8th house, this is where Gemini is, and Mars is here. So your thoughts and everything could be a little scattered right now. What I recommend for this house is that you implement some grounding energy, because look, we're dealing with air, right? We're in the water house. The energy comes off in an airy like way, right? And it's fueled by fire. So what's the element that's missing? Earth, right? Because we got Mars, which is fire. We got the water house, which is the 8th house. And then we have the air, which is Gemini. So we want to balance that out by adding some earth. So you want to be a little bit more practical. You want to do things that make sense. So you may want to get out of your head and your emotions, right? And you got to be careful what you say and how you say things, and don't let people, get you all thrown off, and, you get to arguing and fighting. I think, carrying some stones on you may help you, some dark color stones, tourmaline, hematite, what else can you use? Opal, black opal, anything dark, right? That'll help to keep you grounded. So you may want to wear a bracelet or a ring, or, a piece of jewelry if you don't want to just carry a loose stone on you. But that'll help to keep you grounded. You may have some problems sleeping too, so just be careful with that. Maybe putting a grounding stone under your pillow to help you sleep. That might help. But with the Mars energy there, your thoughts and your ideas, which come out in the 8th house for you, it comes out in a Gemini-like way. Lots of perspectives, lots of thoughts, lots of ideas. You may want to act on everything. You may have to be careful, especially if you're somebody who has like a natal placement of Saturn there, which restricts things, and then all of a sudden here comes Mars, which is accelerating things. Like, you just need to be careful with your thoughts. You may not want to jump into every thought that comes to mind, or every thought form that comes to mind. You want to act upon it. Instead, you want to just slow down, try to ground yourself, bring yourself out of your head, try to ground yourself, go out in nature, if you're going to make a major decision, between now, Mars is going to be in Gemini probably for the rest of the year. So when you make any type of major decisions, you may just want to go out in nature. That way you can think, get a clear head, walk through the grass, walk through the trees, go by the water, and that way you can make sound judgments without, being all over here and there. But what about this? What about that? What about that? Because that's what that Gemini energy will do to you. And we're dealing with your psyche, which is your 8th house. So that's your psychological state, your mental state. So we got to be careful with that. Your 9th house is Cancer. Your 10th house is Leo. We don't have any planets there. But your 11th house, we got Venus and Virgo on the 9th. All right. So your 11th house, this is, the house of your social life. Okay. This is the house of the internet as well, for those of you who have internet businesses. So it comes out, the energy is going to come out for you in a very Virgoian way, where it's very analytical, very well thought out. This could also be an energy where you have to be careful. You may end up being a slave to this energy, where you give, you know what I'm saying? And you really don't get what you're supposed to or what you deserve, or you're just over giving, doing too much. That Venus and Virgo energy will put you in a position where you'll just constantly give, because you may want appreciation, because Venus is all about appreciation or value, or you want to look valuable, you want to be appreciated by your friends. So you go out of your way and you do a little bit not a little bit, but you do way too much, right? Also be careful of people coming towards you that way, people who want to give you everything. They want, oh, I'll do it for you, don't worry about it, I got it. Oh, no, because then these people may turn this around and well, I did this for you, I did that for you. Be careful of these types of people coming towards you. Since Venus is direct, this could be people coming towards you, the type of people. But these could be people also who value you, they appreciate you. You may find people who are willing to help you and willing to work with you. Maybe in areas where you need some assistance, you may find that people might be in a position to want to help you, in opposed to where people may be in an environment where, you may ask a question and nobody don't say anything, or you got to ask it twice. In opposed to you may just throw something out in the air and then everybody's here willing to try to help you. So that's a good energy too, but just be careful who you accept help from and how much. Don't use it as a crutch, where you rely constantly on these people for whatever it is that they do for you, in opposed to just looking at it like, okay, the universe blessed me with these people to help me with this situation, that helped me to get where I need to go. Okay, cool. And keep it moving, right? So just be careful of that. Also be careful of you being very kind, because as a Scorpio, you are very kind, very giving, very generous. And you need to be careful of people who see that in you, but yet don't want to reciprocate that. So be careful with that Venus and Virgo in your 11th house. As far as online businesses, things like that, I feel like for a lot of you, you're really going to be focused on doing things that puts you in a position where you have a routine set up. That would benefit you the most. For you to be the most profitable and successful in your business endeavors, especially online, is for you to have some type of schedule, because that's what Virgo's all about. Being very meticulous, having a schedule, everything in its order type of energy is Virgo energy. And then with the Venus energy, Venus is all about money. It's all about appreciation. And I feel like, maybe what you do or what you bring to the table, especially online, would be more appreciated if you simply just did something like maybe had a regular schedule, or, be more regular with whatever it is that you're posting, or, just have something like, oh, hey, this is going to be done on Fridays now, and let people know that, and then you stick by that. Maybe you'll have more people coming towards you and turning out, because they know when you're going to turn out, your information or your videos or what have you. That's just an example, okay? But I do find that you being more methodical, excuse me, and you setting up some type of routine where you're doing something regularly at a certain period of time a day will help you. So a lot of times getting a planner makes the world of a difference. You really don't know how much time you have or how much time you waste until you get a planner. One of those planners that has the time on it, like it'll say 6:30, 7, 7:30, 8, 8:39, like, and you write down whatever you're doing. So if you work from 9 to 5, just cross out from 9 to 5, right? If it takes you from 5 to 5:30 to get home, cross off 5:30. So that means you get home at 5:30. So from 5:30 to 6, you're, just write down that you're unwinding. And then from 6 to whatever, you're doing whatever. And if you look at it like that, you realize a lot of times we waste a whole lot of time. So if you want to get things done business-wise and you want to be very successful, the best thing for you to do is get you a planner and try to implement that into your life. Now, finally, we get to your 12th house, Scorpio. This is where we got Mercury in Libra. Now, you definitely want to pay attention to your dreams, because not only do we have Mercury here, Mercury is the energy of processing information. It's the energy of information, period. There is no feeling to Mercury. Mercury is, I'm going to read these words to you. Here's the words. Here's the letters, here's the words. I'm reading that to you. That's that. You're the one who, puts the emotion, or we're the ones who put the emotion and energy into it. So, mercurial energy can be very cold sometimes, as far as when it comes in the form of communication, right? But you do want to pay attention to the type of communication that you get, because it is in your 12th house, and your 12th house has to do with your dream state. So I would definitely recommend, writing down your dreams while Mercury is in Libra, for you, especially because it goes retrograde on the 9th of September. So you could already be feeling these retrograde energies. So pay attention to your dreams. Write them down. All right. This energy has a lot to do with the subconscious reasons why you may attract certain types of relationships in your life. And I feel like with Mercury in retrograde, and plus these cycles closing up, we're beginning new karmic cycles at the end of October. Because Pluto goes direct in October, Saturn goes direct in October, Mars goes retrograde in October, okay? Jupiter goes from Aries back to Pisces in October. So there's a lot of shift of energy going on in October, and we're starting to feel that preliminary energy that's preparing us for that shift. We're feeling that now. So pay attention to how you're feeling, pay attention to what you're eating, pay attention to your dream state, pay attention to all of these energies, because it's going to be very impactful for you, and it's going to set the pace for October, okay? So just wanted to give you a little heads up of what's going on for the month of September. And this is going to prepare you for August, October, because like I said, a lot of the planets are coming out of retrograde. We got one coming in. I think Mercury will be coming out around that time as well. So a lot of switching of energies. So that's what I got for you. Let me know if that resonated in some way, shape, or form. But again, with these types of readings, make sure you come back and check it at the end of the month, just to see if anything resonated with you. So make sure you check the August reading. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Later on in the month, I'm going to be doing Uranus retrogrades for all the signs, because Uranus went into retrograde on August 24th. But I wanted to give us a little time to get into that energy. All right. So I'll be doing that for you. I'll be doing your North Node readings. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with Mercury retrograde in Libra, because Mercury retrograde happens 3 times a year, in opposed to the other planets where, some planets stay in retrograde half the year, right? But Mercury goes in and out of retrograde 3 different times. So everybody's pretty familiar with that energy, what to look out for, and how to use it. But I might just talk about it briefly for you. I might put something in the community post for you about it. But what you want to do right now is focus on these new moon and Virgo energies that we're in. That started on the 27th. The energies are most potent on the 27th, the 28th, the 29th. But you still can work with those energies up until the full moon in Pisces, which is coming up in roughly a week and a half. So with that being said, I love you guys. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my new channel. The link for that is in the box below. It's called Many Styles of Tarot. Don't forget to subscribe to this one, and I'll see you guys in the next reading. Later.